Good morning. This is Jeff Davis. The workshops of GB Davis and GB Davis Folk Art. I'm here today to talk about my Series 2, Crow with a Key. And this is number 2 we're going to talk about today. This is a series that I began about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, to explore techniques that I know and that I use, but to apply them to the same project in different ways over and over to refine their use and maybe discover other ways to use them. So here's number 2. He's a big boy. He's probably about 13 inches tall. That's 9, maybe taller than that. Glass eyes, a ribbon, a really nice vintage key. Body's carved out of red cedar. That's left over from construction on our house this summer. Leather wings, antique shoe nails used to attach the wings and the tail to the body. Tail's leather too. This is the top or the end of a Victorian handweight, carved out of or turned out of maple, beautiful patina. And then we have a cedar base that I turned on the lathe. It looks a little top heavy, but I can assure you it's not. I'm poking it and nothing's happening. When they are, I'll drill them out and fill the base with metal, but there's no need to do that on here. I want to talk to you about the wings. If you were here for the first video, which is available on my Instagram feed, GB Davis Folk Art, we talked about how I form the wings with tin plate, which is the metal, the painted and printed using lithography metal that was used for things like potato chip cans and toys from the late 1800s all the way into the 60s. Wind-up toys, and I get mine from potato chip cans and old sewing baskets and things like that. Cookie tins. These are leather, and I love wet forming leather. I use it to make wallets and cases for things. And I use it occasionally for whale flippers, but I've never gone to this depth of using it for a bird project. So I turned a mold out of cedar, I turned it on a lathe, and formed these over that mold. So if you soak leather, it becomes very malleable and very stretchy. And you stretch leather over a mold and you tack it or pin it down or clamp it down. I actually used the shoe nails I'm using here. And I tacked it down, and you let that dry and it hardens and it retains that shape. There's no spring back, it just stays there. And then I trim them and I harden them with heat and steam. So you've got very, very hard surfaces, but it's just normal leather. This is a technique that was used to make armor in ancient times. Wouldn't want to see an arrow coming towards that and covering your chest, would you? Also used to make leather baskets and leather buckets and containers. Very, very durable and can be easily made waterproof. So it takes paint and shellac just like the wood does. If you look underneath, you can see I left, like I often do, I leave the undersides of things unfinished so you can see the original materials. The distressings revealed a little bit of leather on the top and will reveal more over the years, especially if people play with these wings and poke at a little bit. But that's what makes this one different is slightly bigger form, and I use leather for the wings and tail. I'd love to hear from you which technique you think was more successful, which one you like, because I want to know what my customers want. I want to know what people find appealing. I'm starting my next one today. It's not going to be on a candlestick form like the last two. It's going to be on a natural form, and you'll get a sense of that when I share that with you. I might have some in-process photos. I'm sure I will on Instagram. So here's Crow with a Key, Series 2, number 2. It's available, and I can always do commissions of anything you see, but it's available at GB Davis Folk Art. I've got a section that says carvings for sale, and the 2 crows are that section right now. As I get the website up to date, that'll change. So thank you very much. Jeff Davis, beautiful Noblesville, Indiana. Thank you for your interest. I'd love to hear from you. Bye-bye.